I've always been the single friend. Watching my girlfriends giggle over sweet texts or flaunt new couple photos on Instagram had become a ritual of silent envy for me. I was 22, still living with my parents, never kissed, never held by a man. My heart ached to be wanted, to finally experience what everyone else seemed to find so easily. It was a Saturday night when my loneliness finally got the better of me. I was curled up on my bed, doom scrolling through stories of couples on beach vacations and late-night drives. Without thinking too hard, I downloaded a dating app. Maybe it's my turn, I whispered to myself, nervously filling out my profile. I picked my most flattering selfies, careful not to look too desperate. That night, the app buzzed more times than I expected. A swirl of attention flooded in. Some guys were cute, some weird, but all their cheesy lines blurred together. Then one stood out. Dylan. His bio was simple, honest, looking for someone genuine. Let's see where it goes. He had kind eyes in his pictures, a slightly shy smile that melted me instantly. Unlike the others, he didn't start with a crude joke or a pickup line. Instead, his first message just read, "Hey, I saw you like horror movies too. Want to recommend me your scariest one?" It was so normal, so safe. I couldn't help but smile. We chatted all night. Dylan told me he was 25, worked freelance, so he had flexible hours, and had just moved back to the city after a breakup. His ex had apparently cheated on him. That instantly triggered my empathy. We bonded over our shared distaste for cheaters and our mutual love for creepy ghost documentaries. By midnight, he asked if we could have a video call. My heart fluttered. I almost declined. I was in my oversized t-shirt, hair a mess, but the idea of seeing him live was too thrilling. When I answered, Dylan's face lit up on my screen. He looked just like his photos, maybe even cuter with his slightly nervous grin. "You're gorgeous," he said right away, making me blush so hard I had to look away. No guy had ever called me that. We talked for hours. He made me laugh, listened when I rambled about my boring office job, and even teased me sweetly when I admitted I'd never dated anyone. By the time we hung up at 3 a.m., my pillow smelled of sweat from how much my heart had raced. I fell asleep with my phone clutched to my chest, giddy and stupidly happy. Little did I know, that night would open the door to something darker, something I was too naive, too desperate for affection to notice. The next few weeks felt like a dream. Dylan texted me the moment he woke up, sent me voice notes throughout the day, and insisted on nightly video calls. He always wanted to know where I was, what I was doing, and who I was with. At first, it made me feel cherished, needed. Wasn't this what love was supposed to look like? My friends were busy with their boyfriends, while I finally had someone who seemed completely devoted to me. "Don't ever leave me on read, okay?" "I'll go crazy," Dylan would joke, only half laughing. "Promise," I'd giggle, even though sometimes I did feel a tiny flutter of guilt for how often he asked for reassurance. Then one Friday night, he said something that made my stomach twist a little. "Do you really have to go to your friend's birthday party? Couldn't you skip it and FaceTime me instead? I miss you more." I paused. I had already promised my best friend Nita I'd be there, but Dylan sounded so sad, his lips pulling into that disappointed pout. "Please, baby? I want tonight to be ours. I was hoping we could, have a little fun." My cheeks burned. We hadn't done anything sexual beyond playful flirting. I was shy, painfully shy, about that stuff. I mumbled that I'd see if I could come home early. In the end, I left the party after just an hour, making up some excuse to Nita about feeling tired. As soon as I was home, Dylan called. He praised me so warmly, his voice thick with a kind of relief that was almost too intense. "You're such a good girl for me. See? No one else understands you like I do. Your friends wouldn't sacrifice time for you like you just did for me." I laughed awkwardly. It was weird, the way he twisted it like that, but I wanted him to be happy. Maybe that's just how real relationships worked. Compromise, right? A few nights later, we were on video call again. Dylan was lounging shirtless on his bed, smirking. "So, can I see more of you tonight?" My throat tightened. I had never sent a guy nudes. Even the idea of being on camera without my pajama shirt made me shaky. But he coaxed me, slowly, whispering about how beautiful I was, how badly he wanted me. "Don't you trust me, baby? You're my first thought every morning and my last every night. Let me see you." I bit my lip, heart thundering. Against every nervous instinct, I lifted my shirt just a bit to show my stomach, cheeks flaming. Dylan's eyes darkened. He praised me so much, told me I was perfect, just that I felt dizzy with flattery. When we finally ended the call, something heavy settled in my gut, like I'd crossed a line I couldn't come back from. Still, I told myself this was normal. All my friends had sent sexy photos to their boyfriends. Maybe I was just finally catching up. Dylan loved me. He said it every day, multiple times. So why did I keep waking up at 3 a.m. with a knot of dread coiling in my chest? Dylan's calls became my entire evening ritual. Even my parents noticed how much time I spent holed up in my bedroom, whispering and giggling into my phone. They thought it was sweet. Finally, their shy daughter had found someone. If only they'd seen the conversations when it was just us. At first, Dylan's requests stayed playful. He wanted me to wear tighter tops on video to show off my thighs and little shorts. Every time he'd tell me how special I was, how no one else could make him feel this way. That twisted my insides with pride. But then the requests changed. Turn around for me. Slowly? Yeah, slower. God, you're driving me insane. Can you put your hand there for me? Just hold it. I want to see how pretty you look when you touch yourself. I'd never done that for anyone. Even alone, I felt awkward. But Dylan's voice was low, husky, tinged with need that made me squirm. When I hesitated, his mood flipped so quickly it scared me. Why won't you? Don't you want me to be happy? I would do anything for you. I thought you loved me. Guilt chewed at me. I was terrified of disappointing him. Wasn't this normal? My friends probably did far kinkier things with their boyfriends. So I swallowed the embarrassment and obeyed. The heat in his eyes made me feel powerful and dirty all at once. But once the call ended, I'd sit in the dark, clutching my phone to my chest, heart racing. I couldn't help feeling like I'd lost a piece of myself. The control grew subtler, more psychological. Dylan started asking about my day in unsettling detail. So after work, you went to the little bakery on 5th Street, right? Who were you with? Anyone from the office? Send me a pic of where you are, baby. Right now. The first time he said it, I laughed it off, but he kept pushing. If I took too long, he'd sulk or go silent for hours, only to come back with apologies so sweet they made me tear up. I'm sorry, Angel. I just get scared of losing you. You're all I think about. If something happened to you, I'd lose my mind. Every time I told myself this was love, just intense, passionate. Deep down, though, a tiny voice, one I tried to silence, kept whispering that something wasn't right. Then one night, Dylan messaged me something that made my blood run cold. I was thinking, maybe next time, don't wear anything at all for our call. Just be naked for me. I want to own every inch of you. My hands trembled as I typed back a nervous laugh. Ha ha, you're bad. I'd be so embarrassed. His reply came instantly. Not a joke. I need this, baby. I want to be the only man who ever sees you like that. A sick swirl of flattery and dread coiled in my belly. I didn't know how to say no without losing him. And so I promised I'd think about it, not realizing how that tiny concession would drag me deeper into something far more dangerous. Dylan's grip on my life tightened so slowly I almost didn't notice. He didn't like when I went out with friends. They don't really care about you like I do, he'd whisper. Or, why do you need them when you have me? I'm your best friend. I'm your future. I started canceling plans, telling Nita and my other coworkers I was just tired. The more I pulled away, the more my world shrank down to Dylan. He became my day and night, my entire emotional orbit. Then he began talking about moving closer. I've been looking at apartments in your neighborhood. Isn't that exciting, baby? We could see each other every day. A shiver crawled down my spine. Part of me was flattered, sure. Wasn't this what every girl dreamed of? A boyfriend who couldn't get enough of her? But another, sharper part recoiled. We hadn't even met in person yet. Every time we tried to make plans, he'd cancel last minute, claiming he was swamped with freelance work. I should have found that suspicious, but I was too starved for affection to question it. Then one evening, things truly crossed a line. I was in my room, painting my nails while chatting with Dylan on video. He was unusually quiet, watching me so intently it made me squirm. Suddenly, he smiled. A slow, chilling smile. Turn around your phone for me, Angel. Show me your room. I laughed awkwardly. Why? You've seen it 100 times. Humor me. His tone left no room for refusal. Nervous, I spun the camera around. It swept past my desk, my bed, my closet, all normal. When I brought the phone back to my face, Dylan was grinning even wider. Good girl. Now I know you're really alone. A cold drop of sweat slid down my neck. Why? Why would you say that? I tried to laugh again, but it came out brittle. Because, he leaned closer to the screen, his eyes glittering, it means I don't have to worry if I ever show up unannounced. My blood iced over. What? Nothing, baby. Just teasing. But his smile didn't reach his eyes. That night, I barely slept. Every little creak in the house made me jolt. I kept checking the lock on my window, the latch on my door. My mind raced. Was he serious? How could he even know where I lived exactly? But then the next morning, Dylan was sweet again, sending me memes and telling me how he dreamed of us getting married someday. My fear melted back into confused affection. I told myself over and over, he loves you. He's just intense because he's afraid to lose you. Maybe that's romantic. I didn't know then how close he already was, or that he'd been planning to come see me, whether I was ready or not. It was a quiet Thursday evening. I'd just showered and slipped into my usual oversized t-shirt, settling in for another video call with Dylan. He was in a weirdly playful mood, sending me voice notes about how he couldn't wait to hold me tight forever. I giggled, a little uneasy but flattered. Then my phone buzzed with a new message from him. Look outside your window. My smile froze. I typed back instantly. Haha, what do you mean? Another message popped up. Just do it. A cold tremor shot through me. Slowly, heart thudding painfully, I tiptoed to my bedroom window and pulled back the curtain. For a moment, all I saw was the quiet street, the line of parked cars. Then, movement. A figure stepped out from behind the big tree across the road. Even in the dim glow of the streetlight, I recognized the curve of his jaw, the slight tilt of his head. Dylan. My breath caught. I stumbled backward, nearly dropping my phone. He was here. I wanted this once, didn't I? I daydreamed about it. Him showing up with flowers, surprising me with a sweet kiss. But this felt wrong. All wrong. My skin crawled as another message buzzed in. Surprise, Angel. I told you I'd do anything for you. Open up. A knock came. Soft at first, then harder. I crept down the hallway, peeking through the peephole. Dylan was there on my front step, wearing that same lopsided grin he had in every video call. He held up his phone, waving it at me as if to say, "Look, see? It's really me." I didn't know what to do. My parents were out at a relative's house. I was alone, completely alone. Come on, baby, open up. Don't you want to finally be together? His voice was muffled but playful. You promised you loved me. I pressed my back against the door, trying to breathe. This wasn't sweet. This wasn't romantic. It was terrifying. When I didn't respond, his tone sharpened. Don't make me knock again. I came all this way for you. You're not going to shut me out. Suddenly, the doorknob rattled. He was trying it. My stomach dropped so hard I nearly threw up. I raced to my bedroom, locked the door, and called Nita, whispering in panicked gasps. She heard enough in my shaking voice to promise she'd be there in 10 minutes. Call the police if he tries to get in, she hissed. The minutes crawled by. Dylan's texts flooded in. Why are you hiding? Is there someone else in there with you? If I can't have you, nobody will. When I heard Nita's car screech into the driveway, I burst into tears of relief. She banged on the door, screaming my name. Dylan must have bolted. By the time I opened up, sobbing into her arms, he was gone. I was shaking so badly I could hardly stand. Nita pulled me into the living room, gripping my shoulders tight. Her face was pale with worry. What the hell happened? Where is he? I don't know. He was at the door trying to come in, Nita. He knew everything, even what my room looks like. My voice cracked. I felt like I might collapse. She guided me to the couch and wrapped me in a blanket. My phone buzzed again. Dylan. Dozens of new messages stacked on top of each other. Open the damn door, baby. If you love me, you won't hide. I saw a car pull up. Who the fuck is with you? Answer me right now, or I'll... Nita snatched my phone. We're calling the police. I started sobbing. What if they can't do anything? What if he comes back with a gun or... Hey, listen to me. Nita grabbed my face, forcing me to look at her. You're not alone anymore. I'm here, and he's not going to hurt you. We'll tell them everything. The police arrived within 20 minutes. 2 officers came inside while another walked the perimeter. I was embarrassed by how hysterical I sounded trying to explain everything, but they listened carefully. Nita showed them my phone, the texts, the call logs, the videos. When they left to patrol the neighborhood, one officer promised, "If he comes back tonight, we'll be circling nearby, and I want you to save this direct line. If you see even a shadow outside, you call us. Understood?" I nodded numbly. My body felt drained, like I'd been hollowed out. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay on the couch while Nita stayed up watching over me. Every creak of the house made my heart leap into my throat. At one point around 3 a.m., my phone lit up again. A final text from Dylan. "You ruined everything. I loved you more than anyone ever could. You'll regret this." Then silence. It was as if the air itself lightened. Dylan never messaged me again. I blocked his number, deleted the app, changed every password. The police found security footage of someone matching his description prowling my street earlier that week. They filed a report, warning if he ever contacted me again, he could face criminal charges for stalking and attempted break-in. Slowly, life returned. It took weeks before I stopped checking over my shoulder, before I could fall asleep without imagining his face outside my window. My parents were devastated they hadn't known, and so protective afterward that it sometimes made me want to scream. But I needed them. I needed all the love I could get to patch myself back together. Nita never let me hide away. She'd drag me out for coffee or make me binge silly movies. "You're not allowed to lock yourself up forever," she'd scold, half joking. "One creep doesn't get to ruin all the good still waiting for you." A different kind of love found me. Months later, I met someone through a book club of all places. A quiet guy named Hari, with gentle eyes and a shy laugh. He never pressured me, never needed to track my location or demanded photos to prove where I was. When I finally told him everything, crying with embarrassment over how naive I'd been, he just held me. "I don't think it makes you naive," Hari whispered into my hair. "I think it means you had a huge heart, and the wrong person took advantage of it. But you're here, you're safe, and that's all I care about." I let out a trembling breath. For the first time, I believed it. The happy ending I never thought I'd have. It's been over a year now. I still get nightmares sometimes, but when I do, I wake up next to Hari, who pulls me close until my heart steadies. I have new boundaries, stronger instincts. I'm no longer desperate just to be loved by anyone. I've learned to wait for someone who earns my trust. Most importantly, I know I survived. And if you're ever lonely enough to accept crumbs of affection from someone who scares you, please remember my story. Love should never make you feel terrified in your own skin. You deserve to sleep peacefully, knowing you're safe.